What's up, everybody? This is Matty Symz. How are we doing? I have decided to take a live stream tonight. And if anyone wants to join, I will put the link in the chat. And there we go. So yeah, how's everybody doing? I figured I'd do a live stream, given that no one was in this time slot. So yeah, already got that. Let me pin this. Did I comment? Huh. That's weird. Let's see. This is strange. I don't know why. Yeah, what's up, Slim? I'm just hanging out, It's Monday night. I knew nobody was streaming, so I figured why not take advantage of it. I'm just hanging out. Shout out to Dr. Pepper. Yeah. What? That was weird. I don't know why it won't let me pin that link, but it is what it is. Did anyone watch March Madness today? I watched Alabama play Maryland. We absolutely smoked them. We beat the brakes off of them in terms of we just shot a million threes. I mean, I'm pretty excited we're going to the Sweet 16. I have never seen Alabama basketball do this well in turn. I feel like I've been around all that long. Nate Oates has seemingly done an excellent job up to this point. I remember our first game, we lost, and I was in Coleman Coliseum for this game. We lost 81-80 to Penn. That's right, to Penn, like the Ivy League school, at home, because somebody couldn't make the free throws. Yeah. It looks like we have Pizza Woman and Slim Mosley in the chat. Looks like Pizza Woman said she had an exam today. I did not have any exams today. However, I did have homework. I did have like econ homework that I worked on. Also did something with Squid Tard. You'll probably know it, Tardarian playoffs. So I recorded another one of the games. Pretty straightforward. That's right. That's right, Zach. Zach knows what's up. I hope San Diego's treating you well, bud. Hope you're able to actually see stuff there, given how strict they were on stuff. But yeah. My econ exam was today. What are you majoring in, Pizza Woman? Because I actually have to meet with an academic advisor tomorrow at Alabama. And I've already been majoring in finance, but I'm deciding that I'm probably going to add a double major for econ. Just for the simple fact, I either have to do a concentration, a minor, or another major to graduate. And they all pretty much take about the same amount of time. So I'm like, why not just get another major? Because it'll look better moving forward, excuse me, than the other two. San Diego is amazing, man. Headed to the San Diego Zoo tomorrow. Yeah, I'd imagine. I've never been to San Diego before. The only part of California I've ever been to is the well, what's it called? Orange County or Anaheim and Huntington Beach. I went to the Anaheim Convention Center because I was participating in an FBLA competition, and they happened to have the national conference in Anaheim that year. So that's what I did for that. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. I mean, that was back when you were able to do things and everyone wasn't getting sick. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. I really hope you're enjoying it, Zach. I know I just need a vacation. I just came back from one. I went to Florida. I think a lot of you guys knew that. That was pretty fun. Got to spend a lot of time on the beach. Uh, Pretty relaxing stuff there. Yeah, Disneyland is closed due to guidelines. Yeah, I heard about that. You know, all I know is California has some weird rules with regards to what they're doing. I think they just finally opened up. I know when I was back home in Illinois over break, they like cracked down on COVID rules, but uh, I don't know. Like I just know they're kind of weird. But yeah, so yeah, I heard it. What Zach? You can correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it that the only people allowed in Disney right now are if they live within the state of California? Hmm. I did not know that actually, that they were registered as a zoo. I knew SeaWorld. SeaWorld's weirdly controversial because there's that one documentary that I haven't watched that has all these people on mad. Is my mic working? Is it? I thought I had my mic working. This is normally what I used to talk. I don't really hear anything. The bet says no. Hmm. Okay, you guys can hear me sick. I thought I had the audio on. Hashtag save the whales. Yeah, there's something about orcas and stuff like that. The bet, are you really trying to get timed out, sir? I feel like you are. I'm not going to Crimson Brave you, but it seems like from people who are actually responding to me based on the conversation that they are, in fact, hearing me. I was just confused for a little bit. Who? Timeout who? Timeout you, sir. There, yes. If you keep it up, giving me this sass. Maybe I want to get into that argument, Zach. You never know about the whales. You know, whales, they're living creatures. Yeah, you don't know what I want to get into. I might just be facetious right now. Uh, I might just be a bit of a troll, but who knows? I'm just a bored college student on a Monday night, streaming at almost midnight Central Time, aka the best time zone. I will die on this hill. Central Time is way better than Eastern Time. Type, 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 type. Keep typing about it if you don't like that, but that's what it is. Uh, yeah. Who's you, sir? That is true, Zach. You're on the West Coast, so it's not even 10 p.m. That's weird to think about. But in turn, that's what I love about the West Coast for like sporting events. Is like there'll be crazy stuff in Central Time that goes until like 1 a.m. and like you can just be up watching sports still. What do you say? I'm going to lock you inside Bryce Hospital at 3 a.m. The bet, I don't know if you know this, but the Bryce Hospital that you're thinking of that's on campus has been shut down for like 10 years. And they moved it down the road about a mile. So good luck moving me off of campus, down the road to Bryce Hospital, and then locking me there. Because I doubt that. I really do. Tied with a big dub, of course. But yeah, I mean, that Bryce Hospital building, I know what you're talking about. That building was weird because I remember I was kind of walking around, and one night I just see this weird looking building that stands out from everything else on campus. I'm like, what is that? And so I go wander over by it, and then it says it's like Bryce Hall was like what they called the building, and I was like, what is Bryce Hall? And watch you, sure, but when I was walking towards this, and then I did research, and it turns out it was like some like insane asylum, mental hospital type place. Lysol, yeah. But this Bryce Hall, I just remember it's super eerie. Bryce Hall and Luca Garza and Brock Purdy. Um, yeah, no, but this Bryce Hall was like an insane asylum at one point, and that they used to treat like people. What do they call them now? Like, what's the correct term? Uh, like a mental health facility, something like that. But like, that's what they use. That's what it used to be, and then they moved it down the road off of campus. But apparently, for a while, even well into the 2000s, they still had that property, and then they sold it off to the university. And I think they're developing stuff there because I know there's a new academic building right next to it. Yeah, right. What is it called? Bryce Hall Alabama. Not Bryce Law. Oh, Bryce Hospital. Bryce Hospital. Yeah, I don't know. Weird building. When in doubt, drink some Dr. Pepper. I don't know why. Trying to think of who's all in the Sweet 16 at this point. I might pull that up. BPD says Squidtard. Yeah, BPD to you, sir. We have Zach Van Pelt in the chat. He says, "Rest in peace, Elgin Baylor." And yeah, I heard he passed away last night. My condolences to Elgin Baylor's family. I knew he played for the Lakers like a long time ago. I didn't realize he was still around, but like I said, condolences to his family. I hope they're doing all right. We killed Elgin accidentally. Yikes. But yeah, that was kind of funny how on D4's bracket night, they were doing like a list of best like NBA players. And they had Elgin Baylor as one of them, and they picked the other guy, and then he died later that night. Like, unintentional poor timing on that part. I was gonna say, let's look at. So let me share screen. So it looks like we got, all right, so in the Sweet 16, in the West region for, I think that's next Friday? No, next Sunday. So all the games on the right side are next Saturday, and then all the games on the left side are on next Sunday. But in the West region, we have number 1 Gonzaga versus number 5 Creighton, and that will be looks like at 2:10 on Sunday. And the other matchup in the Sweet 16 in the West bracket, we have USC number 6 versus number 7 Oregon. I heard correctly tonight was the first night a Pac-12 team actually got eliminated, and that was Colorado against Florida State. They will be playing at 9:45, I'm assuming at night. In the East region, they will be playing for their Sweet 16 games. We have number 1 Michigan versus number 4 Florida State. That will be held at 5 p.m. next Sunday. And then in the East, or the last matchup, and the one that I will probably be paying attention to, my number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide, with an amazing performance tonight against number 11 UCLA at 7:15 p.m. And then who's we? Alabama, sir. I attend the university, if you didn't know. I'm like an actual student. So I take a lot of pride in where I go to school. Not a lot of people who like the team can necessarily say that, but I can. So I'll use that as I so decide. Next up, in the South region, we will have number 1 Baylor versus number 5 Villanova on Saturday at 5:15 p.m. And in the other South region Sweet 16 game, we will have number 3 Arkansas versus number 15 Oral Roberts University. Definitely one of the best names in the tournament, and have made a funny yet surprising run so far, beating both Ohio State and Florida. Then in the Midwest region, we have number 8 Loyola Chicago, another team that, well, Alabama will always be where my heart and soul lies. It will be my alma mater. It's my school. As someone from the state of Illinois and from the Chicagoland area, I've always kind of liked Loyola, and when they made that run, I respect them for it. And they will be playing number 12 Oregon State. And then for the last game of the Midwest region, that'll be at 2:40. And then will be the number 11 Syracuse versus number 2 Houston at 9:55 p.m. And if you told me that the last 4 teams in the Midwest region would be Loyola, Oregon State, Syracuse, And Houston, I think you're crazy. I find it crazy that Loyola upset Illinois, but it happened. I also find it crazy that if you had Oral Roberts in the Sweet 16, but March is crazy. Things happen. It's totally understandable. Excuse me, the bet. You're gonna get take a 5. I did not see your comment until now, but yeah. Actually, I'm gonna show you some mercy. I'm not gonna give you a 5. I'm just gonna delete your messages that annoy me for right now. And if you continue to do that, you're gonna take a 5. But yeah, that's the tournament this year. I'm happy that Alabama made it to the Sweet 16 so far. My hopes just for this basketball season was that we could at least make the tournament, and we did that, and now we've done more. I'd love to see how far this goes. Let's see. D4 says Joel Osteen, Oral Roberts alum. Yeah, isn't Joel Osteen that like mega church pastor? From like Texas. I am not Celine Jr., sir. Just because I deleted one of your comments does not mean I timed you out. Yeah, D4 is right. I did not know that, and I just Googled it. And Pizza Woman, instead of asking someone, really, comma, whoever it is, if you want to double check to make sure what they're saying is true, you can just search it up, whatever that topic is. Mind-blowing concept, but, it's definitely a great one to have at the power of your fingertips with the internet age. Yeah. I know this is probably a really riveting chat I'm having with you guys. I didn't think that. Why won't it? Let me pin comments. That's weird. The bet has left the chat. Good night, bet. I know I give you some smart alecky comments, but I'm glad you came around at least. Let's see. So yeah, now we're back to me. Figured I'd just take a look at that, see what all the matchups were going to be for the next weekend. I mean, if you told me last year, well not a year ago because now it's been over a year, but if you told me in like December of 2019, say, and that the following year Alabama will not only win the SEC football title, but also the SEC basketball title for both the tournament and the regular season, and there'd be an ongoing worldwide pandemic that will last over a year, I probably would have thought you were crazy, in all honesty. Like, I didn't think that would be on my bingo card. I wouldn't have been surprised about Alabama football. Not to sound arrogant, but they've had a little bit of success over the past 10 years, if you could put it lightly. But, it's been an interesting time. We got 6 people watching this. What's up, everyone? I didn't think I'd get 6 people to watch this at midnight Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, but I commend everyone who is watching this for sticking around and hearing me kind of ramble on a StreamYard. I don't know if anyone wants to join. The link is up top. I want to see if I can pin the link. Squidtar, just a little bit. A little bit, here and there. Not a super big deal. No. Yes, thank you, Pizza Woman, for telling me that it's mountain time. I mean, I think most people in this community are operating out of either Eastern time or Central time. But if you want to know what time it is in mountain time, Pizza Woman's got you all knowledge up. But yeah, a little bit. Since I see you in the chat, cheers to you, buddy. I know you like Dr. Pepper. Kind of was the reason that I thought to buy Dr. Pepper. Squidtard with an interesting comment. 6-9 p.m. poop time. Whatever that means. But I guess that means something. Smart man. I like to think so myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, I guess I'll repost the link again, given that you can't view it anymore in the chat. See if my chat function is working. See if we can do something. There we go. I don't know why that was so difficult. Where's Mr. Iowa when you need him? That's an excellent question, Squidcard. I do not know where Mr. Iowa is. I think he probably just, I don't know, not necessarily go to bed, but just didn't realize anyone was streaming, given that no one filled in that 10 or 11 o'clock slot that my boy TikTok Chess Hall normally fills in. I mean, I just kind of decided to go live because I figured no one else was, and if anyone wanted to hang out, they were more than welcome to join. I don't know if I expect anyone to join at this point, but we'll keep going for a little bit. See if anyone joins, wants to hang out. Trying to think. Yeah, no, you're not the only one who's surprised, Pizza One. I don't know where Just was. We have Mr. Welcome to the chat, none other than D4 Sports. How you doing, D4?
Pretty good. What's up, buddy?
Just decided to do a little bit of a late night stream.
I got tired of seeing you in here alone. I know it's awkward and it sucks.
I appreciate that.
I was actually watching Red Dawn and I was getting into it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna jump off here and go in Matty's stuff.
Yeah. What I really wanted to happen was I wanted Texas to win against Abilene Christian. I'm not trying to rub it in, because what the idea I was going to have was I wanted to do like a logo bet with you, where whoever the loser of that game would have been has to wear the other team's logo in StreamYard for a week, but it didn't happen.
Oh, you talking about Alabama, Texas in the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, me too. But there's only one of us going to be there, so.
Wait, what?
There's only one of us going to be there, so.
Yeah, I know. We play UCLA next weekend, so I don't really know much about them. I knew they were really good a few years ago when they had Lonzo Ball. I don't really know much about them since he left. I know they weren't good for a little bit, but they made it back to the tournament.
Yeah, they were good.
Seems like the Pac-12 has done well in the tournament this year, especially Oregon State.
How many teams did they have in?
I'm sorry?
I said, how many teams did they have in the tournament?
Oh, there's 68 teams in the tournament, but I think Oregon State was a 12 seed, and they played.
They just knocked out Oklahoma State, right?
I think so. I know they beat Tennessee. I think it was also Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. They beat Oklahoma State by 10 points, and I mean, Oklahoma State has probably one of the top NBA prospects in Cade Cunningham, which I know that's a big deal, and a lot of people are hyped about him.
I think he goes number one.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying is he's going to go number one overall. And I know a lot of teams – I've heard Rockets fans in particular say they want Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, beating Oklahoma State ain't no joke.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard they were a good team. I know Texas played them for the Big 12 title game. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. We beat them, let's say 6 or 7. But, I mean, we had 23 turnovers against Abilene Christian, and that's not going to be the smallest of schools, much less a team coming in there wanting to knock off Big Brother in the state, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's just like it's kind of similar to what Loyola did with Illinois, even though Loyola, I guess, has more of notoriety because of that Cinderella run they had a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah. The old lady's still alive.
Yep. And then Sister Jean with these crazy predictions where she's like, we can hold them to under 30% shooting. And that's exactly what they did to Illinois.
I wonder if she comes up with that or they give her a script.
You know, I mean, the lady's 101 years old. I don't necessarily know if they give her a script, but it's hard to bet against a nun playing on Sunday with God on her side. So
if they were playing Texas, I would probably make a trip and assist her in getting down the wheelchair ramp. At 40 miles an hour.
I mean, this was, I mean,
That's Superman's fault. I apologize for that.
I get that. I was gonna say, I'm gonna segue into football a little bit. I mean, how hyped up are you for Steve Sarkisian at Texas?
Well, I'll start off by saying all gas, no brakes.
Yep.
Great slogan.
I,
but slogans won't win it for you. We have a lot of raw talent coming back. Casey Thompson, probably the odds-on favorite, Hudson Card to win that starting quarterback position. Redshirted last year. He is absolutely phenomenal quarterback as far as throwing, and he has wheels. So he's probably the more polished of the two. I say whichever one doesn't win the starting job transfers out to get their shot. And but he's put together a heck of a staff. The recruits are coming. I'll give him a few years to do something. I think he's trying to get ramped up for the Alabama matchups in 2022 and 2023.
I'd imagine. I mean, I'm grateful for what Steve Sarkisian did as the offensive coordinator at Alabama. I knew he was going to leave after this offseason. His stock as a head coaching candidate, especially after winning the Broyles Award, couldn't have been any higher. I remember seeing Casey Thompson play in that bowl game you guys played against Colorado, and after Ellinger got injured, and Thompson looked incredible.
He balled out.
Him and then
he had more touchdowns than incompletions.
I remember something crazy. Like, I just remember he threw this insanely long pass over the top. I was like, wow. And this is like his first real, not necessarily his first real playing time, but his first extended amount of playing time because of Ellinger's injury.
Oh, that was definitely his most meaningful playing time he had ever had. He had come in during blowouts earlier in the season, but he had never come in with the game still in question.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And then that running back, what's his name? Like Bijan Robinson? He was pretty good when I saw him. I think Texas is definitely going to have a solid offense coming in next year.
I think that Bijan Robinson is actually ranked second coming into the season as far as running back goes behind Breece Hall.
That's right. I forgot Breece Hall was coming back. I remember everyone thought him and Brock Purdy were going to go to the draft, and they decided not to. But I think next year will be a real test with Robinson. I think he'll be something special for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, from the time I did see them, they both look phenomenal.
What's going to be is the same struggle we've had for years, our defense. We can't play. But I do think that Kayakowski, or however you pronounce his name, the defensive coordinator we got from Washington, is a very, very underrated hire. He had top 16 defense, and every year he was at Washington, and he continuously produced first and second round defensive backs into the draft. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and knowing Steve Sarkisian and what he ran at Alabama, he loved to run a lot of play action, run the ball, especially with someone like Mac Jones. But in turn, Jones wasn't as mobile as Tua. But I think when you have as good of a running back like Robinson was, and seeing how good of an arm talent Thompson is, I think they could definitely run something similar, but also something that takes advantage of Thompson's mobility.
The reason I like Card better, personally, because he reminds me of a Mac Jones with a Brett Favre arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a smart player. He's not going to put you in bad situations. He's not going to make the mental mistakes that most young quarterbacks do, but he also has like a rocket launcher attached to his shoulder.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it ultimately comes down to who's polished. Mac Jones took everyone by storm last year. I remember the first person that I heard about who believed in Mac Jones was my grandmother. And she's like, I like this Mac Jones kid. You see, he's cuter than that Tua. And I'm like, but Grandma, Tua's going to be a top 5 draft pick, and he's probably the most talented quarterback we're going to ever have had. And like that Mac Jones. And look who ended up being right. I'm not saying I thought he was going to be bad, but he proved everyone wrong.
And with who's seen what he could be, none other than, and made him who he was, Steve Sarkisian.
That's right. What's up, Squid?
Wait, wrong person. Or fellow comrades. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Just having a StreamYard here.
Uh-huh.
We were just talking about Alabama football and Texas football. What's I gonna say?
Well, did you guys have a discussion about how Tennessee is winning it all next year?
Oh, for sure.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Tennessee's gonna go 15-0. I really believe it.
Well, I think we'll go 14-1. We'll meet up with Washington State in the playoffs in the national title game, and Jarrett Garantano will have about 700 passing yards on us. So I mean, I think he is a dark horse for the Heisman.
Yeah, I agree. JG, quality quarterback by far, beloved by at Rocky Top for sure. What do you think of the Josh Heupel hire? In all honesty, besides the trolling.
Well, I think this was a much better hire than what it could have been, because for one, this guy actually has head coaching experience, and this guy is definitely D4 stop. He actually has experience. Well, he has experience, and then he's really good on the offensive side of the ball, coaching wise, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know Heupel likes to run that spread sort of air raid type offense. I know D4 doesn't like him because he was an Oklahoma quarterback.
I see.
I will be actively rooting against Tennessee until he is fired.
Well, damn.
I will actually sign the petition to have him fired. Because I don't feel comfortable with someone with that much authority living an hour away from me. It makes me very uncomfortable. And him being an Oklahoma grad, to take his finals to get his degree, he had to color inside the lines, which he barely did, and he is on chess hall IQ level. So,
whoa there.
Sounds like you're just mad because he's an Oklahoma guy, which I can understand.
No, I'm not mad. I'm sad.
If Texas's head coach was a Florida man, I would have felt the same way.
What's sad is the greatest coach in Texas history played on two of Oklahoma's national championships teams in the 50s.
Was that Daryl
That is
Royal?
indeed tragic.
Yep, old Daryl K was a defensive back. He's still second all time in interceptions in Oklahoma history.
Wow. Second all time? Who's first?
I have no clue.
Oh.
D4 resident Oklahoma fan definitely would know that. But I was going to say about the Heupel hire, to me, I don't think it was an awful hire. I mean, they got a coach who has connections with their athletic director. They're running an offense that actually fits, it seems like, what the college trend is of going spread and pass heavy as compared to more of the trench-based, run-focused offense that Pruitt ran. And while I know Pruitt was more of a defensive-minded coach, you could still tell they had a somewhat conservative offensive playing style. And
Well, that's partly Chaney's fault.
oh yeah, that's definitely
some,
Chaney.
I have seen some differences. Here's the thing about Jim Chaney that I can forgive is that to me it looks like Jim Chaney was actually trying to make a good offense. And it all came down to the QB situation in 2020, which was a just horrible management by, of course, bald man. who did just an absolutely awful job. Here's the thing about the three quarterbacks that we had. Of course, German Ammo, JT Shrout, and Harrison Bailey. Those are the three. I mean, like, it was obvious that all jokes aside, it was obvious that JG was not going to be the guy. He peaked as soon as he got to the friggin' university. He was awful, terrible. I mean, we all knew that. Harrison Bailey, however, was a freshman. And as a freshman quarterback, somehow, some way, he was still playing better than Jarrett Garantano. And for some reason, JG, it took Jeremy Pruitt about 7 or 8 weeks to finally bench him after throwing more pick sixes than he did touchdowns after the Georgia game. For some reason, it took him that long to bench him for a freshman quarterback who needed experience on the field. He finally puts Harrison Bailey out on the field, and then after one single mistake, that wasn't even a mistake. It was that fumble that they, for some reason, called a fumble, even though it was obvious it was a forward pass. Jeremy Pruitt benches him for JT Shrout and then runs the exact offense that JT Shrout doesn't work well with, because JT Shrout is definitely a passing quarterback. He's the shotgun quarterback that we needed, that like throws the ball really good downfield. He can make bombs. Anything that's like 5 yards or less or 10 yards, he can't do crap with. Harrison Bailey, however, works really well with that. And if this were 2020 and we had Josh Heupel, I have a really good feeling that the season would have gone a lot better, because he would have worked out that hybrid QB situation a lot better than, of course, what Baldman did.
Baldman. I mean, yeah, it's clear that JG had already been kind of hit his ceiling in terms of what he could do and what the expectations were for him. But it seemed like just they did not have a grasp of what to do offensively with quarterback management.
The moment after JG threw 2 pick sixes in a row against Kentucky on 2 consecutive drives, and Jeremy Pruitt came out in the press conference and started blaming COVID and saying that JG was still the guy and that he was that gave us the best chance to win. At that point, I knew that both that JG sucked and Baldman was worse than Butch Jones.
I personally think that the Josh Heupel hire was a lateral move when it comes to he may have more experience, but he also has the stigma of being a lazy recruiter, and he was fired from Oklahoma as offensive coordinator for a reason. If you're fired at your alma mater that you won a national championship at, that you're being a beloved quarterback there, there's a big problem.
Yeah, and I've got no reason to back that up. But to be honest, it's not like we had many choices for a head coach because of just all of the crap that was going on at Tennessee. There's no way that an actually really good head football coach is going to take that job. No way in hell that was happening. So I think that was could have been worse, could have been better.
But what my thinking would be, okay, make Jeremy Pruitt weather the storm until next year when all the sanctions or whatever is going to come down is over. Why tie yourself down to a spur of the moment, we got to get somebody guy for another 4 years? Why not let the storm blow over and then go after somebody legitimate? Tennessee panicked. Your new AD went with somebody he knew, and now you're tied down for another 4 years with somebody that's not proven a damn thing in college football.
Well, you see, the thing about that is that our entire Tennessee football program, the people who run it, share a brain cell the size of a kidney stone, and that's about it. So that should tell you everything you need to know about them. They have no idea what they're doing and really never have. And so when this whole thing about the recruiting violations and all this came out, the thing that got me really concerned is that they fire Pruitt, Fulmer leaves. That's what got everybody thinking that this was a real thing, and of course pressure from the media and pressure from friggin' Vol Twitter, which a lot of people get on me about the whole Vol Twitter thing. They're like, "Oh, Squintard, stop." Vol Twitter doesn't have any impact on what happens in the friggin' on what happens with the coaching situation. It does. It has a huge impact because they're the loudest ones in our community by far. They are the loudest group of people on planet Earth, and they will do anything to make their voices heard. And I do have a feeling that whatever the deal may be, that Fulmer bent the knee and decided that he was gonna fire Pruitt, and just the entire thing from top to bottom was just completely retarded, whichever way you look at it. And that's the reason why we're here today. It's just 10 plus years of incompetence in our football program. So that's what led us here.
I mean, if I was in Tennessee's situation, I know it'd be hard to find a coach that's willing to basically play through almost guaranteed sanctions. But if there's anyone I would have tried going after, I know they were flirting with the whole idea of Tony Elliott. I didn't think that was realistic. But the one that I would have maybe considered more, especially where he ended up going, would have been Gus Malzahn. I mean, say what you want, that he's a bit inconsistent. He's proven that he can at least consistently beat his rivals. Like, he's beaten Alabama under Nick Saban more than I think the only person who has a similar amount of wins is Dabo Swinney.
Urban Meyer.
That is true, Urban Meyer. I forgot about that. And he's also an offensive coach, and he's a little more proven than Josh Heupel. I mean, would it be kind of a retread hire, kind of like what Will Muschamp was to South Carolina? Yeah, but I think Gus still had a higher ceiling. And I know a lot of Auburn fans were tired of Gus Malzahn, but I still think Gus was a better coach when he got let go from Auburn than Will Muschamp was when he got let go from South Carolina, because South Carolina was an absolute dumpster fire this year.
Yeah, they were.
I think if it were me, I would have taken Jimmy Haslam's wife's purse and threw it at James Franklin and got him to come.
Oh, I agree with Franklin. I know a lot of Penn State fans are like super mad at him. I think Franklin is underrated. I just think he plays in a really stacked division, and that Penn State is like expecting somehow to return even after some of the worst sanctions and the worst news with that whole scandal they had a few years ago. Like, make no mistake, it's incredible where they're at based on the turnaround they had. But I still think like some expectation that they should be like a national championship team after the amount of devastation they dealt with seems a bit unrealistic in my opinion.
Makes me wonder what would have happened had we decided to go with Greg Schiano a couple of years ago instead of letting him go. And then because he's winning some games over there at Rutgers, which winning games at Rutgers, including games like friggin' Penn State, that nobody would have seen that coming. It doesn't matter that Penn State had a season that was just awful. They beat Penn State. And Rutgers is winning football games. So, I mean, you can tell that Schiano's doing some work there, regardless of what kind of a guy he is. He's doing work. Really, the whole idea of someone like being a total dickhead when it comes to their attitude and everything like that. The big matter in that my say is, are they winning or are they losing? Because I mean, Butch Jones. I mean, we all know about Butch Jones. He was a nice guy. Couldn't win a damn game. Every big game that we were in, we lost or we choked or we did something to lose. We couldn't win anything. Jeremy
One
Pruitt, huh?
one decision can impact the program for years to come. And I think one of Tennessee's main ones was Trevor Lawrence grew up a Tennessee fan, wanted to come to Tennessee. Butch Jones told him that he did not fit the system and chose Jarrett Garantano over Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean that is factual.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, no, I agree.
just like 2012 when we really started trending down. No, maybe in 2011. Mac Brown chose Tyrone Swoops over JT Barrett.
Yeah.
So JT Barrett was a Texas guy, wanted to come to Texas. Mac Brown chose Tyrone Swoops, who he thought was the second coming of Vince Young, over JT Barrett. So those little things, choosing certain players over certain players, can really impact your program and shoot them downhill.
Pretty much, yeah. That's practically like, of course, Manning versus Leaf back when the draft in the NFL was going on. If they had went with Peyton Manning instead of Ryan Leaf, maybe
Exactly.
things would have been a lot different for him.
Exactly.
Because one turned out to be an amazing MVP quarterback, and the other turned into one of the biggest busts in all of pro football.
But who's to say if Leaf doesn't go to Indianapolis and have the support system around him that Peyton Manning did, he doesn't turn out to be the Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, and then Peyton Manning goes out there to San Diego where he had nothing around him and turns out to be the bust.
That is true. I was going to say an even more recent example that I can think of with how coaches selecting quarterbacks. I remember Utah. Zach Wilson, BYU quarterback, grew up a Utah fan and really wanted to go to Utah. But Utah was recruiting this guy named Jack Tuttle, who's like, I think he's a quarterback at Indiana now. And they were recruiting him, and I think Tuttle told Utah, it's like, if you want me, you better not be like recruiting any other quarterbacks from this class. And so they decide not to go after Wilson. Wilson gets a late off. He gets an offer from like Boise State, and then he gets like a late offer from BYU. And then we can see what's history. Wilson became probably BYU's most notable player in years, outside of what's his name for the Saints, Taysom Hill, and Jack Tuttle literally no longer plays for Utah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People, the comparison I like to hear all the time is, what if Tebow goes to Alabama?
I heard that too.
Okay, if Tebow goes to Alabama, that Alabama offense wasn't an Urban Meyer offense. Tebow thrived in Urban Meyer offense. That wasn't the offense that Alabama ran. All up until Tua came, they were still the I formation, one back set, pound the ball, throw it every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not exactly, may not be exactly true that, Tebow goes there is no Nick Saban. So
Yeah, no, that's a big one. Is that they don't think Sam would have come if Tebow went, and that's a really interesting thought process as to how that would have changed the college football landscape.
if he would have came there, who was the coach before? Mike DeBose?
Mike Shula.
Mike Shula. If Tebow comes there and they do win a natty, yeah, Saban's not coming. You know what I mean? Mike Shula's staying.
Yeah, that would have been real interesting.
And Nick Saban probably ends up at Tech. You son of a bitch, Tebow. Saban could have been the heir apparent to Mac Brown.
I mean, speaking of Mac Brown, I know a lot of people like to criticize him for what he did in his later years at Texas, but you got to give him credit now for what he's done so far at North Carolina.
He credits his mistakes at Texas to the way he's handling things now. Mac Brown thought that he needed to find he said it in an interview before, he needed to find the next Vince Young. And he thought Tyrone Swoops was that guy. And he was so sold on him, he didn't recruit anybody else. There was nobody behind Tyrone Swoops when they decided to let him take over. There was nobody noteworthy. And he also made a mistake with Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson wanted Mac Brown to tell him that he would get some carries his freshman year. And he's like, oh, well, we have Cedric Benson. He's going to be a 4-year starter. I can't guarantee you that. I don't care what you have to tell that man. Yes, I will give you 3 carries, 5 carries, 10 carries. It doesn't matter. He was a generational talent at running back. And that was clear to see with him being a senior in high school. You're not the number 1 running back in the country for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's crediting his mistakes that he made at Texas to how he's handling things at North Carolina now.
Yeah.
I think North Carolina is going to be a really good team next year with Sam Howell now as a junior.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I hope Ty Chandler runs for 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
I was trying to take a shot at Squid there.
Yeah, I know.
Did he transfer to
Yeah, sure
North
did.
Carolina?
Yep. Transferred to UNC.
And Eric Gray went to Oklahoma.
You know who didn't transfer? Yeah. Henry To'o.
He was going to go to Alabama.
That was the rumor.
Oh, he came back.
Yep.
And we still got Harrison Bailey, so there you go.
For now.
Nah, he ain't leaving.
You don't think Caden Salter comes in and takes the job?
No way. Not this year. But, that does concern, maybe there is a possibility, though, because Harrison Bailey did even say that he came to play for Pruitt, and we all know where Baldman is. He's packed his bags, and he's all back on his way to Alabama to wash Nick Saban's car, just like every other Tennessee football coach.
He's a special assistant with the Jets now.
Really?
Yep.
Watch, he's gonna go to Alabama. He's gonna do
Giants. But yeah.
He's gonna go back to Alabama. I know it's gonna happen.
I'd love to have Jeremy Pruitt over Pete Golding.
I don't think you want that.
Man, I wanted to get Dan Lanning so bad. I wanted to fucking piss Georgia fans off. I was praying we got Dan Lanning. Because we pretty much purged Nick Saban's staff. We got his top 3 recruiters, the offensive line coach, the special teams coordinator, and the quarterbacks coach. Then if we would have got Dan Lanning on top of that, that would have been great. Happy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wish you guys took Pete Golding, but no. you can have. He should have gone to Texas with his voice, Sark.
No, this is what I heard. Heard he was like, "Hey, Sark, man, can you take me with you?" And he's like, see, I would, but we play you guys the year after next and the year after that. So I'm gonna need you to stay where you are."
But I needed him to go to Texas to continue so we could hire Pruitt back as a defensive coordinator.
He's
Oh,
gonna
you
go
know,
to Alabama.
you know what I just realized? If Todd Grantham bombs this year at Florida, he can come to the Nick Saban rehab.
Oh, that would be
No.
hilarious.
No, I do not want Todd Grantham.
Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of hope Dan Mullen just keeps him. That'd be better.
I was going to say, I don't want him in the Saban Rehabilitation Clinic. So hashtag support Grantham with all my heart.
Support Marco Wilson too.
Support Florida in general.
Oh yeah,
Marco Wilson's coming back for his senior year.
I know, that's hilarious.
I don't know who's still watching, but if you support Grantham, type 1 in the chat.
We got one person.
So yeah, I heard. I heard about Marco Wilson coming back. I wonder how much he regrets that.
Oh, throwing the shoe?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he regrets it, but I'm sure that he'll hear about it for the rest of his life.
See, I think he did the smart thing staying, because if you go into another locker room, they're going to haze the piss out of you about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So let's see. Oh, now I know who's in the Sweet 16. Gonzaga, Oregon State, Oregon, UCLA, USC, Creighton, Arkansas, Baylor. Did Oral Roberts make it to the Sweet 16?
Yes, they did. They beat Florida and Ohio State.
That's funny.
Ooh, I wonder what D4's typing up there. I hear him.
Oh, sorry.
No, because I heard you typing, and it was the hashtag bring Grantham to Bama. So
I heard that Abilene Christian got slaughtered.
Yeah, they got me by 20.
Oof. This is tragic. Well, for you.
This is what I want. Okay, I want Creighton to make it in the West. I want UCLA to make it in the East.
yeah.
Oral Roberts in the South, and Loyola Chicago in the Midwest.
Yeah. That'd be something.
I want Loyola to make it, but I do not want UCLA to make it. Also got to flex the Oral Roberts logo. Shout out to the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, shout out to them.
For beating the X High X trademarked state university and the Swamp Creatures.
The Fighting Granthams.
Fighting. the Fighting Granthams
Also,
in round ball.
D4, I must ask, how do you feel about beating good old Third and Saline in the Tartarian playoffs?
Oh, this was great. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
Florida man took a massive L.
I'm hoping that we make it to the championship against Ohio State so we can take a shit on them.
Well, Florida State, Ohio State, that one would be a great one, I bet.
I'm hoping that this upcoming season I can get a hold of all T-shirts that Georgia and Ohio State will be facing, and I will sport them because I will be actively rooting against Ohio State and Georgia all season long.
What if Ohio State and Georgia play each other?
Then I'm supporting the referees.
We live in a society. What was I gonna say? For that, why both of those teams?
Because of some of their fans.
Fair enough. I mean, I've gone into great length how I don't like Ohio State being from the Midwest and then just encountering their fans that are everywhere. I haven't had the experience with Georgia fans as much, but with Ohio State, I can definitely understand that. Them and LSU, but LSU isn't because they're annoying. LSU is just because of my personal experience with them last year when they came to town. They were just kind of rude and in your face when you're just trying to mind your own business.
Well, in 2018, I remember the 29-0 loss. Oh, Alabama fans, the ones that we dealt with were just awful. Like, there was this one woman that was sitting next to me where literally anytime literally anything would happen, like Tua gets a 1-yard run, she'd scream right in my ear. Like, right in my ear. Like,
was this 18 or what, last year?
Yeah, this was 18. When I went to, I went down to Baton Rouge to watch the game. Because, my family is LSU fans, so.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I was confused. Was this LSU Bama?
Yeah, LSU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
LSU Alabama.
I guess I thought it was something to do with Tennessee for a minute. I'm like, I'm not going to lie to you.
My bad. What'd you say?
I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of Alabama fans that get on my own nerves because they just run their mouths. And sure, if you're winning, you can talk. But sometimes people have never heard the phrase "talk is cheap." Sometimes you need to know when to shut your mouth and just let the work speak for itself. And when you just act like an insufferable hack, when you win, people already begin to not like you. They want to tear down the things that stay at the top. But when you just act antagonistic about it, it only makes it worse. And I try to do my best to be respectful to other people from different fan bases. And so it's not like, oh, this guy, he's an Alabama fan. He's a bandwagon. He likes to run his mouth. And I'm just like, I'm a student here. Make no mistake, I enjoy my team. I love watching us do well. But I don't want to be one of those people who's just, we're 15-0.
I understand that.
Well, see, my family are Tennessee fans, and my father's side of the family are Oklahoma fans. We have the '85 national championship ring in my father's trophy case, and I go to Tennessee spring games, and some Tennessee games because Texas isn't close. and like I'll go watch them in West Virginia and whatever I can, you know. But I'll just go to Tennessee games just to watch a game. I haven't lately because they've been just like it's terrible. But I watched them in 16 and 15 when they were real big with Josh Dobbs and Jalen Hurd and Kamara and all them. So one of my favorite players on that team was Josh Malone.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
But like as far as Oklahoma, like the first time I ever met my father's side of the family, I was asked to give like stand up and speak and everything. It was like, you know, nice to meet everyone. I'm glad to be here and everything. And after I was done, I said, and one more thing, fuck blow you.
Sounds about right.
Because they're that entire side of the family are Oklahoma fans. They live in Oklahoma, and so it was funny.
Yeah, for sure. My middle school principal when I was there was the mother of Todd Kelly Jr. And that's why Todd Kelly Jr. became one of my favorite players, because I got to meet him and I thought it was really cool. Oh, was that friggin' there's old Maker Bayfield.
I was gonna say, Pizza Woman asked if I'd want to take a doo-doo in the O for the shoe. I wouldn't want to do that. That's unsanitary. But I know D4 despises Texas, and he probably absolutely hates Baker Mayfield. But this moment, when he silenced all these annoying Ohio State fans by doing this, made me die laughing. So Baker Mayfield always has a little bit of cred with me for that reason. But yeah.
Well, you guys do. You got Alabama does have something very similar in common with Oklahoma.
What was that?
Well, we both wear crimson and white.
But their colors look like a girl just pulled a tampon out.
Well, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
See, I really can't trash on Texas all that much because that's my uncle's alma mater, and that man wears so much burned orange. Like,
I respect that man.
I don't think he's particularly happy with how Austin has changed over the years. He lives in Houston now. He used to live in Illinois, but I know that man is constantly wearing the color orange if I've ever seen that. And props to him. Orange is a hard color to dress with, I'd say. Like it's not like blue for like jeans, or it's not like a more muted color like reds can be, or greens. Are those burnt orange like cargo shorts?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I was gonna say orange is a hard color to pull off, but the people who do are dedicated to orange.
I'll sometimes just call it poop orange just for the fun of it.
Oh, meaning burnt orange?
Poop orange.
Tennessee orange is puke inside of a pumpkin orange. You know what I'm referencing, right?
No, it doesn't ring.
Okay, so there's this video of this Alabama fan talking about how he hates Tennessee.
Yeah, never mind, I do know now. That took me a minute, but now I got it.
And he's like, they got that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. It's Neyland Stadium is a garbage truck worker convention or something like that. I think it's a hilarious video. I mean, obviously, I don't think you would find it funny, But
Oh no,
that-
I did it. It was the dumbest thing I've ever watched, but you know.
but whenever Alabama plays Tennessee that week, I'm guaranteed to see that either on my feed or on any of the stories, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, constantly that week about how, man, that guy hates Tennessee.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like every time it's Alabama week on our part, we have to hear the chant from Tennessee fans about how we don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee. Eh.
I mean, I objectively like the state of Tennessee whenever I visited there. Like, I think Tennessee's a cool state.
If you
Yeah.
live here, you would feel different.
I
Like,
don't mind it. I think maybe one of you has had a bad experience with Tennessee, but I never really hated the state.
It's not that I hate the state. It's just the people inside of the state.
I see. In a way, that makes sense.
Like if you could take all those people out and just leave me alone, I love the mountains.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was gonna say, East Tennessee was really pretty. Whenever I've been to Nashville like a bajillion times, it seems like I have friends that live in Portland, Tennessee. It seems like a cool state. I liked Memphis when I visited the downtown. I mean, being from Illinois, I don't want to live there. I have a bunch of reasons. I wouldn't necessarily go into him on there here because I think they'd be somewhat controversial and polarizing about my reasons for not liking the state of Illinois. A lot of that has to deal with like politics and taxes and stuff like that. But I just see the state of Tennessee as like a place I'd be considering wanting to go after college in terms of like job opportunities, but also just a state that's a better fit personally.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But you also got to realize, Matty, for finance and what you're into as far as your degree, you got to think a lot of southern states when it comes to big jobs like that. It's the good old boy system. It's about who you know.
I mean, that is true. But what's Wall Street in comparison?
Right.
So like, I'm already kind of down here for school. I mean, I know it's not the state of Tennessee. I'm in the state of Alabama, but
I think you should have an Alabama degree and go get a job working in the finance department at the University of Tennessee.
I mean,
I wonder how they would feel if you walked in there and be like, okay, we need a copy of your high school or your college diploma, and it says Alabama.
Well, I mean, one of my finance professors is literally an Auburn graduate,
Oh, okay.
and another one of my professors is a Georgia graduate, and he talked. The Georgia one talked about how most of the professors at Alabama, like I think like a significant majority, I want to say at least 80%, do not hold degrees from the University of Alabama. Which
you can think of that negatively too.
what, that they don't want to hire their own?
Yeah.
I think it's more about just hiring good overall candidates. I mean, I've had plenty of professors who've had Alabama degrees. I was going to say, I know my communications professor, my business comms one, has a degree from Alabama. My legal studies professor I had last year had one. My ops management professor had one from earlier last semester. So I mean, I've definitely had some that do have Alabama degrees. It's just there's also a decent amount that don't. I care about the state of Michigan. I think Michigan matters. There's a lot of cars produced there, and I know Ohio doesn't have the best record with automobiles because there were literally 2 cars in the entire state in the 1800s, and they both collided into each other. So take that for what that's worth, Ohio.
Also, Pizza Woman, you're incorrect. That is definitely not your song. I'm pretty sure we did that first. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama.
The whole state or just Tuscaloosa?
Probably the whole state. Because
do you really care about those Barners?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm just messing with you still.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Maybe it's a possibility that we care.
I mean, I don't really care. Or
After
I'm not
this
really bothered by this year. You care.
This playoff thing is much more difficult than. Oh wow, it's 2 a.m.
I was gonna say, yeah, it just passed 1 a.m. I'm probably gonna let this. Well, we'll be. I think if on for a few more minutes, I'd say probably around an hour and a half is when I'll call the stream quits. But yeah, I don't know. Tennessee. I mean, right now with my college, I'm majoring in finance. I'm probably going to add econ as my double major because it'll take the same amount of time as a minor. And then I think I'm going to try and go to graduate school and get an MBA because I have my last year of scholarship that I can use towards part of it.
I like it.
I mean, and it's something my parents are trying to drive home because they talk about how some of the people I knew, like from like either like my old school or like people I knew from scouting, talked about how they would have to go back and try and do this stuff while also trying to have like a family and how much more difficult it was. And so my mom's like, you should probably do this now. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah. Slim, if you're talking about the Tartarian playoffs, the next matchup, that's the 15-0 Bowl tomorrow. If you're talking about the Smack Talk Showdown, I honestly don't know because I tried to get it set up with somebody, but nobody will answer me back. So I think it was supposed to be you versus Unk, but I can't get back with Unk, so we can't even do the draft.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd rather not. I'd pick somebody else besides that.
We could do Matty and Slim.
I don't know what I'm doing this weekend or if I have any tests upcoming next week. I'm starting to wind down in the semester to where I need to start focusing more on like studying and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that.
So like I'm not saying outright no, like Jeff said, but I'm just saying I need to keep my horizon more open than I have been because it seems like I'm just getting more work now in terms of long-term projects and stuff like that.
All right. Well, yeah, it's up to you. D4, I'm not sure if we'll skip this week's Smack Talk for the Smack Talk Showdown, but I know next week we'll have something planned. If not Matty, then we'll do Chess versus Slim, which what a match that would be.
Well, basically we had Slim pick Chess's team the last time.
Yeah, I know. Chess is going to have to pick his team this time. He can't get help if he picks D4.
Oh, that'd be tough.
That would be tough. D4 would lose his mind.
Uncle Luke, kicker. Slim says he'll kick anybody's ass. We'll see, Slim. I think you did a really good job drafting that time, you and Webster, when you basically took over Chess's draft board. I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, right now Slim's got a win because I'm counting him as getting a win because he picked Chess's team. So yeah, I'm calling that a win for Slim. I've got a win because Iowa beat Miami in the Poopy Cheeks matchup, and then Jeff Webster as a win.
Oh yeah, that's right. He absolutely steamrolled the Marshall Thundering Herd.
My Marshall Thundering Herd. More like the Marshall Thundering Turd.
Yeah.
Even BBD was there, and he was actually getting mad, which I can understand. When you throw a screen on 3rd and long, that'll make anybody mad.
You don't have to tell me about that again. There's Squid.
Yeah. All right, it's 12:30, Matty. Do you want to go ahead and shut this thing down?
That's what I was about to say. Is I want to make sure I have time if I decide to do streams later this month. I think an hour and a half is good. So I want to thank Squid Tart for coming.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, I'm trying to think.
BBD.
I want to thank. Wait, hold on. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming. As always, roll tide, roll out. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. This means a lot that I was able to get at least 2 people in here at 1 a.m. Central Time. So once again, roll tide, roll out. Woo!
Like.